Oh, I thought you were gonna say something like you fell down the 12 flights of stairs or something.
No.
Not that.
So I caught the edge of my friend's high top as I was coming down from playing basketball, and so it turned my foot. And it turned my foot sideways, so I landed on the side of my ankle with all my weight, which is about 240
Crunchy.
pounds.
That sounds
yeah.
fun.
And so I pretty much put as much pressure on it as I could without actually breaking my ankle.
Oh.
My cousin was trained to be a physical therapist. He helped me with physical therapy, and he kind of evaluated and realized, like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. I don't need to go to the doctor. It'll everything will heal on its own.
Ooh.
Yeah, for me, I just twisted my ankle playing soccer, and it sprained my ankle.
So obviously, I've had my issues with my hands. I had a dirt bike accident where I ripped off most of the skin off this right arm, all the way from here all the way up to here. So basically, when the scab grew, it was I basically had like a big old beef jerky arm. So it was that, because you know it has that weird rough texture. It's like really messy.
It's a lot better than degloving yourself.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Do you know what degloving is?
Isn't that like when you just rip off all the skin and you just have the muscle showing?
Yeah. So, yeah, when you deglove yourself, it happens. So it can actually happen when people are walking their dogs. Yeah, it's actually surprising. You know how you'll wrap your hand in around the thing, so like your hand is through and it comes up and around to your wrist, and it kind of
like you do like this little hand motion around.
You like wrap. No, it's not like wrap it all up, but it's like you just put the handle in.
I'm so scared of my hand falling. Like I would.
Yeah, so that's happened before, where people will like go to pull back against their dog, and it'll catch just right, and it'll start ripping the skin, and since the skin is all solid, it just completely degloves you.
Yeah.
Free gloves.
I was really close, but the issue was that since it was just one-sided on my arm, the other side, it just kind of like felt like really rough, and it felt like it was being pulled. But since it was just basically all the tension was on one side, and it just tore off the skin on this side. But then I've also busted my head open twice. I had to get staples once, dude. Staples, I'd rather get stitches. Because they said, okay, we're going to put this numbing stuff on my head. They did it, right? And they go, it's just going to be a slight pinch. And they go, whack, whack. And, dude, it hurt so bad. I was screaming, dude. I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was so upset. They're like, you lied to me, you son of a bitch. I was so mad. And then,
my brother had a sink fall on his head, and instead of like getting stitches or like staples or whatever, they tied his hair together and glued it together.
Ooh.
I hit the back of my head on some weights when I was doing sit-ups, and we were doing like 60 seconds, do as many sit-ups as you can. Didn't realize I was slowly twisting myself slightly when I was doing my sit-ups.
Ooh.
And so it was moving me like 2 degrees every time I did a sit-up. And I didn't realize it, so when 60 seconds hit and the timer went off, I just kind of threw myself backwards, essentially just trying to get away from using my abs as much as possible after that moment. And I threw my body back, and I threw my head back, and I hit the edge of like a 35 or 45 pound weight square in the back of my head.
Dude,
I knew it was bad. Like, I hit, and then I immediately rolled and grabbed back of my head, and I could feel, like, you know how you sometimes you have to check for blood?
Yeah, like you.
I put my hand on the back of my head, and my hand instantly became wet.
Oh yeah, no, it's the worst feeling.
And I pulled my hand back. I was like, oh, maybe it's just sweat. And I looked, and like my entire palm was covered
that's
in blood.
Exactly how it was for me when I busted my head open.
Yeah, I put both hands on the back of my head and like blitzed it to the fucking sink. My cousin was in the other room, so he ran in like as I'm running to the bathroom, and there's like blood dripping off of my hair.
Yeah.
So I have my head down. I have my head like down, and I'm like pressing on the back, and he can see blood. He saw blood like starting to run down both wrists, and like dripping. Yeah, I didn't even have to go to the hospital.
I learned about this today, but do you know you're like not your arm that like connects to your wrist or whatever, that that part of your arm, that bone bends.
That connects to your wrist, forearm.
Yeah, your forearm. I don't know what it's called. Yeah. But I learned today that it like bends. The bone bends whenever you twist your hands.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that until today.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It has to do that because your shoulder and essentially your elbow can only bend so much.
Just
Because
the
it does
next
more.
week was my
Well,
arm
your
all day.
shoulder and that and the I forget what this is called. Um, it does more like a pivot. So if you actually,
Bicep?
yeah, there you go, bicep.
Yeah.
That does more like a
It,
pivot to actually
it's also a
turn.
lot
You need that.
for us having to twist and use for how much we use our forearms for grip
Rotary
overall.
phones.
Pretty much, if your forearm was as stiff as most other bones, it would break all the time.
We would look like Legos.
It would literally break all the time. You would have such limited movement in your wrist, like in your wrist and hand, and
Yeah.
it would you would create so much torque when you're doing so much stuff that your forearm would snap
Yeah.
quite regularly.
Yeah. I
Your
got
forearm is
gummy
really
arms.
not. Your forearm it really isn't that strong.
Yeah.
Like as just the bone, it's not particularly strong.
Yeah.
That's why you hear a lot of people like breaking their forearms and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't hear a lot of bicep breaks. You hear a lot of forearms and wrists, if anything.
Well, yeah. So pretty much always when you end up breaking your forearm, it's usually when people are falling, because obviously you
Yeah.
try to catch yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, but like you were saying, you know how you felt like it was sweat when I busted my head open. I was 9 years old, and there was this place in San Antonio called it was like Chacho's Cheles or something like that. It was a Mexican restaurant, but it had one of the biggest play places. It was like a 4-story high play place.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was huge. And so there's you know those like vertical nets you kind of like climb
Oh,
up
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Instead
Okay.
of climbing up, I decided to run down it. You know.
Oh, I would do that.
Yeah, but I'm running down it, and I didn't like drop once I got to the bottom. But there was the poles with the foam on it.
Yeah.
I hit the little plastic zip ties that keeps the foam together on the pole.
Like, I don't think Faye likes this conversation because she immediately deafened.
Yeah. So, I like, dude, I feel like I was passed out for a good second. I went back, and luckily the rest of the play place is actually not covered in zip ties. So I hit the floor, and I wake up and put my hand on my head. I'm like, dude, I feel so sweaty, man. Like, why do I feel like that? Like, it felt icky. I walk up and I walk up to my mom. I tap on her shoulder. She was talking to a friend. The friend looks at me. She starts screaming. My mom turns around. And as soon as like the lady starts screaming, my mom's turning around. I take my hand off my head, and there's just blood like gushing down my arm. It's nuts, dude.
Interessante.
I actually still have the scar on my big toe. You can't really see it, and I've tried to take pictures of it to show others, but can't really see it. But there's this like little line, and it's from where I split my toe, like the outside of my toe, when I was in 5th grade. You know those little like rubberish-y play sets?
What do you mean?
There's like little points on parts of them, and it's where essentially they had to like pull away the machine when creating it.
Oh yeah.
I kicked that when I was a little kid, and it split like halfway down my big toe. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
bad.
The only prominent scar I have is on my hand from like I was taking pizza out of the oven and I hit my hand on the like grill thing, and I think for like a solid 2 years I was too afraid to open up the oven because it hurt so bad whenever I hit it.
Yeah, I actually have a burn mark on the back of one of my forearms that I got like earlier this year, and it was so weird because it never hurt, and
Yeah.
I don't remember ever getting it. I might have just been really high when I got it, but like I remember looking, and I was like, oh fuck, it looks like a burn, and then it like kind of bubbled a little bit,
Ooh.
like in the next coming days, and I was like, huh,
That reminds me of
that's
like
so
when
weird
you
'cause it never hurt.
yeah, it's like when you get like blisters like from playing instruments. Because I've never had a burn, but like
Oh yeah, I've gotten so many blisters from using gardening equipment for
It-
my work.
what with when you I don't know if it's the same way when you're working like in that field or anything, but when you play an instrument and you start getting those blisters on your fingers or on this like bottom part of your hand,
Yeah.
it's like right before the fingers. You're told, at least I've always been told, and for me, I would tell other people too, is when they start growing, you have to pop them because the issue is that if you go to play, especially how often you play, because I would play every week.
Wait, what do you play? Hold on, wait, what?
I play bass.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't get blisters playing flute.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, you're not gonna get bliss like
Yeah,
it's
I
mostly
never
the
got
string
blisters playing the
instruments,
trombone.
where you have to pluck and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where you would get like guitar, bass, stuff like that. But
Guitar Hero. Oh,
no, not Guitar Hero. But
got me excited for nothing. Thanks
when
a lot.
you have you ever popped a blister?
Yes, a lot of times. I've
It's
done
it's
enough weightlifting, enough sports, and enough gardening to have many blisters.
Yeah.
Many.
and it's not fun. It really isn't.
No, it fucking hurts.
Yeah, but the issue is that if you don't do it before you play, when you're playing, your fingers and those blisters will pop on you while you're playing. So you have to go through that pain and just
Juicy.
hit. Yeah, no, it really isn't. It hurts so much, dude.
Yeah, no, it fucking sucks. I've torn enough blisters while like playing football and basketball and stuff. There was one time that I had a couple blisters in my hand, early junior year, where I had been weightlifting a lot before the season, so I developed a lot of blisters, and I didn't have the time to pop them before the first day of practice. And I grabbed onto one guy's jersey as he was like running past, and I just remember like this tiny like light release when I was holding on to someone. It was almost like my elbow popped, but it wasn't. It was actually the blisters that were originally holding all ripped, and so my grip lost just slightly. But oh my god, it made my
Yeah.
hand release because I ripped 3 blisters all at once.
Yeah, it's not fun. Blisters are never fun, but you have to. At least for me, before you do anything that involves where the blisters are taking place, I always recommend just popping them before you have to do it, so that you
No,
already
you-
feel that pain and you don't have to actually use your fingers. And when the time comes, they've already hardened.
I have a better idea. You can
Go.
just stick a straw in it and have juice on the go.
No, what I would do to pop them, I didn't like biting them and ripping them because that hurt. I'd stick a
Biting them.
yeah, because
You
there's some people.
psychopath.
No. There's some people that have done it, and so that was what I was told to do too. You just take a bite, you rip off the skin, it pops.
I would literally just it would hit a point where I get so frustrated where I would just dig my nail in.
Yeah,
like,
and
rip
there's
it.
and there's that way too, and that I don't like that. What I used to do is just
And
stick
then-
a
and then I
needle in
just
there.
wrap
Small
it.
infection.
I just end up wrapping it with some tape or something.
Hey, Faye, is Faye here?
Faye-
Oh my
Faye
god.
does not want to be in this conversation. I'm sure.
Happening.
We're talking about injuries,
Yeah.
and I'm good, Faye. I'm okay. I'm not gonna die. I might lose a finger, but I'm not gonna die.
We already discussed if he loses the
Huh?
Faye, we already discussed if he loses the finger, we're just gonna tape a fork to it.
Yes.
Because he's done. Sorry.
But wait, what did you say, Faye?
So that would be pretty useful if you
Yeah.
replace the finger with a fork.
Or you could even do a
Would never
knife.
have to
I
have a
like
fork.
what I like is in the when we
Faye,
were talking
please don't
about it.
encourage him.
We were talking about it in the main lounge, and Faye's like, "What happened?" She was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Yep." She missed that
Oh,
first
dude,
time.
I
That's
had
for
a
sure.
shitty morning. I don't tell you about it.
Oh, I heard about it. I heard that you did not. Have
Horrible morning.
Wait, what
I-
happened?
I threw up all night last night. I threw up all damn morning.
Okay.
Dude,
after.
I'm surprised.
Faye,
I
how
didn't.
much did you drink?
I didn't drink much.
Are you just that much of a lightweight now?
I am that much of a lightweight. It's pathetic.
You're
looked
also
at Colin,
you're also
I'm
really
like,
small, so yeah, I can see it.
Small.
I told Colin, I was like, dude, I ate pizza and bread and
Oh,
shit to
yeah.
fill my stomach beforehand, so I wouldn't get drunk fast.
Oh, you know why is you might have eaten too much.
Yeah, you might have stuffed yourself.
Yeah, you might have eaten too much and then drank a lot, and your body's like, "What the fuck? No."
I don't-
I threw up to the point like I couldn't even have a sip of water before I would throw that up too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I have this thing where it happens a lot where I'll like randomly feel like I'm gonna throw up, but I will never throw up, and it'll just last throughout the entire day, and I hate it so much.
That's like
just-
holding in
oh, dude,
like
make
a
yourself
sneeze.
throw up at that point.
Yeah. No, I've done that. Like if
when I
I've ever
Oh,
get that
man.
feeling,
Last
yeah.
night with you guys, who was on the call last night?
I was there for a little bit, but I
Yeah,
But I
when
kind
you-
but I kind of wish I was.
When y'all noticed when I turned my camera off last night, I immediately was just thrown up the rest of the time. I came back, everybody was gone. I was like, what happened?
Everyone went to bed. Yeah, but what's it called? That reminds me of like this one time. This is when I first started like drinking, and I went to I was in San Antonio. There's a place called Taco Cabana, and you would get this thing where you get a slushy.
Go,
You get a slushy,
Sorry.
and they give you a shot of like a bottle shot of tequila.
yeah. Wait. Oh, okay, never mind. I heard bottle of tequila. I was like,
It's a shot, but it's in a bottle form because you would like if you went to the drive-through, they would give you the little bottle and you could put it in. So it was a shot, but it was a little tiny little bottle.
still don't trust it.
And
Wait, hey, are you feeling better? If
My
it's
stomach
even here.
still kind of hurts for real. Not gonna lie.
but
I mean, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm
that's gonna
old
happen.
now. I can't jump and bounce back.
Don't
like
say
normal.
that. We're so close in age. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't bounce
Y'all
back
are
like
old
I
to
used
me.
man.
Oh, trust me. I sadly can't. I also like hard manage myself when I'm drinking.
No, but this
You
I was
should
being an
not-
idiot. I was being an
I'm
idiot.
a piss water drinker. I like piss water beer, dude.
Yeah.
So when I went to the fucking Moscow Mule shits, I was like, fuck. Ah.
All right.
But
I'm really disappointed that I wasn't there to drink with you guys. By the way, I'm just putting that out there.
well, I wasn't there
Yeah, it
to
was
drink. I wasn't.
awful.
I think we planned for this weekend coming up to all have like a thing where we play. I think Jackbox and we're all gonna have drinks. But I thought it was Sunday, and so I was like the first one. To, I mean, what's his name had drinks too? Koi, right?
What?
Oh my gosh.
What?
I am a Pokemon guy.
Oh, stop. Okay, bye.
Huh?
Tell Colin I said hello.
No, you can tell him when he joins his damn call.
Get in here, Colin.
He says, "Get in here, Colin."
I linked Pokemon Go on my phone with Let's Go Eevee on the Switch, and I'm about to do crazy things with them.
All right, cool. Get on the call.
But
Uh,
like I said about the little shot thing of tequila, right?
Yes.
The little shot thing of tequila.
Yeah.
I head
Yeah.
home. And I had Mike's saved, right? So I had my two, right? And my boss I didn't want my little shot because I don't like tequila because it's one of those things where it's a bitter taste and I don't like that. He gave me his half bottle too. So I had the full bottle. I didn't even touch it, but I had half, not even a full shot, but a half shot. And I just finished the quesadilla, and I'm there, and I'm like,
hello, sir.
this can't be bad. Like, it can't be that bad, dude. I hit it, and everything just came out. And I was sitting on my bed because I was in my room. I was sitting on my bed. It was facing and the bed was real close to the door. So I throw up, and it just projectiles all over my TV and all over the wall and the door.
That's disgusting.
And
But-
so,
Bloody.
no, it was bad. And so I went to the bathroom, finished throwing up. And so now I'm drunk, and I had to clean up, like, a shit ton of barf. And it was the most horrible thing I've ever been through when it comes to alcohol. I hated it.
I mean,
That's-
yeah, fair.
That's why you stick to chalky milk.
Oh my god. Well, you can't drink alcohol, so.
I
Not
mean,
legally.
she can. She just should.
Yeah, not legally. But yeah, you know what we should do? We should play Cards Against Humanity.
Yes, I've been wanting to play. I just feel like I've been